That's brilliant. All right, so let's jump in. I'm sure people normally join a little bit afterwards, so let's just jump in anyway. So you all know me. I'm Kim from Ultimate Speaker, and anyone that's going to join the call later, then what I do is I help people become more conscious communicators. In that, it is about helping you find your voice, find your message, and be able to get that out into the world. Because if you've got a big message to share, it's too important to be kept a secret. So, and this is why I love being able to help people do that. So that's just a quick introduction for anyone coming on later. And chat room will be open. So do you all know where to find the chat room to be able to put questions in and comments and what have you? Great, good. We're going to make it very interactive as well. So look, I just want to do a big acknowledgement for current times. We are in a huge, massive state of change. And this is why I felt very, very drawn to, hello Lani, how are you? Welcome. Can you hear okay? Can everyone hear okay? We're good. Lani, can you hear? In your bottom left-hand corner, you can, or in the right-hand corner, change the volume. In the left-hand corner, you'll be able to mute yourself just so that we reduce background noise. Hi, Donna, welcome. Beautiful. All right, so in the chat room, you'll be able to pop questions and comments. Just coming back, you know, these are incredibly challenging times for everyone, as I was saying. And I just send complete love and compassion to everyone that is feeling in any kind of way being impacted. And I know we're all being impacted, absolutely. And so my heart is about, this is why I felt so drawn to do the webinar today, in fact. No, this was what it's about, because we're moving from what I would wish for you, and this is why I've called it survival to strength in uncertain times. My wish for you is that you all get your message out into the world. You're all doing amazing things. You're all doing, you have gifts, you have strengths in so many different areas, and I feel that each of us has a calling to actually get that into the world. So if you're feeling the same way as I am, and that's why you're on the call, then great. We're on the same page, which is excellent. And now's not a time to be in a...
Well, you've got to, otherwise it'll be over before you know it, and you've had a shocking life.
Exactly, absolutely.
So you've got to enjoy every bit of it. Like, that's one thing about joining the temple that I've learned a lot, is to just stay in the moment. That, you know, you've got to, all the suffering happens in your head. That's the main thing Buddhists put across. All the suffering is in your head. So stop that dialogue and you'll be fine. Everything's fine.
Well said, Donna. Well, that just about wraps it up. I'll see you guys. I mean, I think she's just about summed it up, hasn't she? No, thank you, Donna. Yeah. I'm teasing, but I'm actually quite serious. You're absolutely spot on. It is about us stepping into our power. It's about us becoming conscious communicators and really stepping up into that. So this is about stepping into your conscious, as a conscious communicator. This is about stepping into your power. There is a lot of fear, but fear, it's about being proactive as opposed to stepping into the fear. And this is why my wish for you is to do absolutely that. And this is why what I'm asking is that as you're listening to the information, as we're having our conversations this morning for the next hour, what I would love you to do is to think about how you, and feel into how you can relate this to what you are doing. Okay, now I've got a beautiful tool that I'm going to share with you. There's going to be a lovely personal bit as well as a practical bit, and then I'm going to give you a gorgeous gift, and you are absolutely going to love this. That is my absolute from my heart, but I'll share with you on that a little bit later. I was listening, and not to say that this is what I normally do, but I happened to turn the TV on and they were talking about, and they have the aeroplane investigations where there's crashes. And one of the investigations was on a French airline, and it revealed for no reason they couldn't figure out why the plane had actually crashed. And then when they analysed every single piece of the plane, they were able to see that what had actually happened was ice had formed on the back of the wing. And it was highly unusual, it never happened before. And what they realized when they listened to what the pilots and the conversation that was happening in the pilot's cockpit is that the pilot had made one adjustment, and that was he had done it for a reason, and what had happened with that slight adjustment of the wing had actually caused ice at the back of the wing. And the plane crashed because I know they have things to melt the ice, but it had gone too far. Now, what had happened was if he had just tilted that wing just slightly one part of a direction, the plane would have been saved. Everyone would have been saved. He would have been able to land it. Now, why do I share this story? Is that each one of us has a little bit that we can tilt on our wing to be able to melt that ice of what's happening in the world, to be able to do our bit, get our message out, and to be able to create a difference. Would you all agree? Yeah? Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. We're all on the same page. I love that. I love that. So from the perspective of this, what I would love you to do is think and feel into how can you tilt your wings so that you're helping yourself and that you're coming through the best of yourselves, but also that you're tilting your wings for others as well. We're in this together. This is about community. This is about co-creation. This is about working together. And this is absolutely why I wanted to do this with you today, to give you some really, really impressive tools that will absolutely help you take things to a little step forward, a little step forward, a little step forward. And each little piece will get you closer to where you're going. It's about hope. I know we're seeking stability and certainty, but it's about bringing hope for ourselves. It's about bringing hope in the world. And just to give you, I'd love you just now to just take a beautiful deep breath in, just that lovely collective energy. Just take a beautiful, rich, deep, connective breath in. Yeah, that's beautiful. And just breathe in that appreciation of what you do have, of what we do have around us. I was walking on the beach this morning and I was just loving the sea and the photographs and the clouds. It was just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Take another deep breath in for me. Yeah, and release it. Just release it. Just feel that appreciation, feel that love. Just to give you a little bit of history on where we're going with this, and before we get into some practical. Back in the 1700s, 1800s, Charles Darwin came up with the theory that was from his research, that we are only the survival will survive. Only it's survival of the fittest. And what happened was we actually took that information as it was. He actually said in his research that it was inconclusive. But we took that part of it and said, yes, in our world, it's survival of the fittest. And so what we've been doing is working on that paradigm that it's survival of the fittest. We've literally taken his information so literally and applied it. And Greg Braden, I study a lot of Greg Braden with his neuroscience, and if you get onto Gaia.com with missing links, fabulous video series. And he has worked a lot with the Hopi tribes, and they have been studying for thousands and thousands and thousands of years the cycles of life. So we go through 5,000 years of a golden age of peace, and then we have 5,000 years of conflict. Well, guess what we're in now? That year, those 5,000 years of conflict. And what has happened is that we are moving through it, but we're just going to have a little bit of a rocky road to do it. And this is why coming together, and this is why I talk about that co-creation, that community, that collaboration is so imperative to get your message out, and why it's so important. So, because I believe, as I mentioned before, that each and every one of you has a message, a big, massive message to be able to share with the world. And I know for myself, when it is about creating the bridge for people between where they are now to where they want to be. It's about finding their voice, finding their message, and bringing through who they are. So with that, I would love you to share in the chat box, and I think Donna might have made a comment, so we'll have a look at that as well. I will need to wear my glasses because the print's too small, sorry. But it's, where are you? Let me have a look. Here we go. Yes, fantastic, Donna. Yeah, you watched it. Beautiful. And it was such a strong message, right? Just so fabulous. So what is it that who are you being as a leader? What is it that you're bringing into the world? What drives you to be a leader? Just in a few words, why do you want to be making a difference in the world? If you could share, that would be beautiful. It's and just while you're doing that, when Chris, I go back to when we needed to step more into being a leader. Chris, back in 2004, was diagnosed with a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, one of the highest grades. And we had the nursery, we had Palmwood Tropicals, and we were running a wholesale nursery. And what happened was because Chris got sick, he was 6 months out of commission, we had to do like a 180 on our business. And I'm relating this to now because it feels like this is what it feels like now. And I don't know if you feel like it, but see if you relate. And what happened is we had systems, we had strategies in place to be able to do the work, but they weren't sufficient with us being out of the picture. So we were very transparent with our team. I think we had about a team of 10 then, and we had a big responsibility because we were supplying the chain stores, Bunnings, Big W, BBC Hardware, Franklin's, all of these different chains. So there was a big responsibility. But we pulled together as a community. We had to show up each in our own right, and we changed the responsibilities. We put new systems in. Everyone stepped up to the mark and created their point of difference, their contribution to the greater good. And so this is why I'm asking this question around what drives you to be a leader, because this is what it's about. It's about creating this community. So what have we got here? So it's the hunger for my soul. Absolutely, Deb. Oh, yeah, it's your depth. And you are such a beautiful soul. Such a depth of love that comes from you and Eon. It's just beautiful. I love it. Yes, Cheryl, I feel so important to care for others. Absolutely. Again, your heart. I feel that. I'm so valued. Donna says I'm valued, and it's never too late to have purpose and be of service to others. Absolutely. And look, this is the thing. Look, I'll tell you what, you hit the mark, you hit the nail on the head, Donna, because you said you're never too old to actually care. It's like you think of Louise Hay. I mean, she was in her 60s when she started to really do the work that she's doing. And she went right through to late 80s, early 90s, and she did amazing work. So we're never too old to start, and it doesn't matter what our past has been, it doesn't matter what's happened in the past, it's what we do right now. It's the step that we do right now, right? Yeah. And to Beth, I want others to know that they have a greater power within them. It's something that is within my heart and soul to do. Absolutely. And I totally feel that from you as well. And I know each of you differently, and I absolutely feel that from you. So thank you for sharing. That's beautiful. It's not a time for segregation. It's a time for community. And before we get into some doing, I just felt that that was a really important piece to share and really to bring us into the collective. I just have some reference notes that I might refer to as we go forward, just to make sure I cover some key points with you. But I'd love to now go into what it takes to become a conscious communicator, to become a conscious leader. Because if we're going to get out there and we're going to be making a difference, we're going to be sharing our message in whatever way that is. Now, when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about your families, I'm talking about your loved ones, your friends, your boss, wherever that's from, whether it's at work, on the online scene, or whether you are still in the office, wherever it is, it's about that becoming a conscious leader, becoming a conscious communicator, and there's some steps that we need to take in order to do this. So it's about getting clear. So what we're going to do today is about getting clear on what are your inner drivers. What are the things that drive you as a communicator? What is the motivation? What is the fire in your belly that drives you to get out there and speak, whether it's online, whether it's offline, whether it's with teams, wherever it is. And it's about how to step in as conscious communicators. So it's also it's also the appreciation, this has just come through for me, it's like the appreciation of how others do this, because we all have our own ways of communicating with the world, and it's the appreciation that we are all unique and special and different in the way that we do this. So it's that appreciation. So what I would love to do is, in our time together today, is to help us to create this together. So Greg Braden talks about how we are in a denial at the moment. We're in a state of grief. And I actually get that, because if you've read the book, The 5 Stages of Grief by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, she talks about how we have the 5 stages. We go from denial to anger to bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. And what I've been noticing is, because the world is grieving for what we used to have, gone is that certainty, that place of certainty, the things that we knew. So some people are in a state of denial. Some people are angry about it. And I see a little bit of a blame game going on about blame the government, let's go on strike. And let's just nip that in the bud and go, this is the time to change. That is the old paradigm. So I know when Chris was in hospital, in order for me to step up into who I needed to be, in order to help him with what he was going through, because essentially they killed him off on the 6th month. They had to reinstill his stem cells to bring him alive again. And it was like, shit, you know, this is really scary times. What can I do? And I needed to really step into my power and step into looking after myself. So this is what I'd love to explore now, is how are you looking after yourself? How are you doing it differently now as a conscious communicator, as a conscious leader in what you're doing? And as you think about this, because as I suggest, you know, think about how you're applying this to your life now. How are you applying it to what's coming up and what we're uncertain about what's coming up? How are you doing this? So what I'd love you to do is draw a line. If you've got a piece of paper, or imagine a line in front of you. And this, I find, is one of the best tools working with conscious leaders, is one of the very, very best tools to use, is just to draw that line. Does anyone know what this means? Yeah? Is this what this is about is above the line thinking and below the line thinking. Yeah? Now, if you've heard this before, please add to the chat box. Yes, thank you, Donna. Thank you. She already has, which is brilliant. So what's happening, and what I've actually got is, I'm going to share just a little PowerPoint with a visual. And our above the line thinking is where we're doing the hope, the choices, how we're responding to things, how we're bringing in the compassion, how we're taking responsibility for what it is that we're doing. And of course, below the line thinking is the blame, the scarcity, the uncertainty, the judgment. We know this. When we go below the line thinking, and I just want to, as you're feeling into this, it's like, I'm not saying that we don't go below the line, and I'm not saying that it's wrong to go below the line, but what I am saying is, as I've put here, don't get stuck there. It's the stuck in the fear, it's staying stuck in the fear. What we're doing, and this is just a point to remember, is that when you catch yourself in that below the line thinking, if perhaps you've got someone who's cut you off in the traffic, perhaps you feel someone's not doing enough, or you feel you're not enough, that is below the line thinking. What I'm going to encourage you to do is to really just reframe. What is this? What is this? And I've got a beautiful thing that we're going to do together that will help you just to realign and bring yourself back into that compassion, that kindness, because one of the biggest things is that self-care. Self-care for ourselves and taking care of, wow, everything that's going on inside. Because someone who is thinking below the line, here's the thing, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this as well. Anyone that's below the line in their thinking, what they've done is they've gone into denial. They've gone into the fact that, well, you know, I deny the fact that you're right, I'm actually right. And they will defend to the ultimate to be right. And I don't know about you, but my thought is that I'd rather be happy than be right, okay? So I'm just wondering, you know, what choices can you make? First of all, where do you see yourself maybe going below the line thinking, especially at the moment? And where can you see yourself just reframing that and stepping up even more into what is more true for you? What would that be? Who would love to share? I'm just going to go through what would be that thing. And just while you're doing that, one of the things that we do, Chris and I do, is we juice every day. We are doing, in fact, we call it the sunshine of our day, because if we don't have that juice, we go, uh-oh, things feel a little bit different on the inside. And it's just amazing. Now, I don't know whether that's, I actually truly believe it's just part of, we know that this helps us, we know that it's good for us, and this is why we're doing, because we're stepping into our higher vibrational frequency, and the juicing helps us do that. Lots of water, that's another thing that we both do, is drink lots of water. I'm also walking every day. This is why I'll be out there walking on the beach and just really appreciating, you know, running around with Bella and playing with her and just having that magical time. So where do you see, oh, fantastic, Cheryl, reading affirmations every day. I love it. I love it. Can I just add to that, Cheryl, is that, and you probably already do that, but it's just the thing to remember is we can say the affirmations, but the power, the actual vibrational frequency will rise when we feel the vibration, when we feel what it is that we want. So that's beautiful. I say hello to an old friend. Thank you for reminding me. I choose again a new feeling. Beautiful. That's great. Because we've got to feel it in order to change it. And this is what, what's his name? Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about. We have a thought which creates an emotion, which then creates our reality, because it's a ripple effect with the energy that we are. Now, just to give you the thing with the below the line thinking, when we have unresourceful thoughts that keep us stuck, we will release these peptides, what's called peptides. And then what happens is those peptides will latch onto an organ. And unless we release those peptides which are hanging on, they're the unresourceful, they're not doing us any good, until we release with love, compassion, self-nurturing, and all of those beautiful things, we actually let those peptides release and go. Anyone else want to add anything just while we're going through? Yeah. So this is what we're doing, just a little bit on self-care, because it's so important. The amygdala is the thing that will hang on. It's the primitive part of the brain. It sits in the primitive part of the brain, in the limbic part of the brain. And what actually happens is the limbic part of the brain, the amygdala, will actually go into flight, fight, freeze, or faint when it's actually put into a scary situation. So all the time it's got its antenna going out. This is sitting in our brain all the time. We've got it. It's just the way it is. It's in our brain. It's got a little antenna going out, going, oh, do I hate that? Do I fear that? Do I hate that? Do I fear that? Do I hate that? It's constantly on the prowl for finding the things that are going to, that it's either not going to feel good about, fear about, or hate. And this is why we've got to change the way we feel in order to change the results that we're getting. Change the thoughts, change the emotion, we change our results. And that is quantum reality. I love this subject. I'm very, very passionate about it, as you can probably tell. So, but and I won't go any more into it, I promise. But it's so yeah. So this is what we need to remember. So what we need to do is, if we feel ourselves going into that below the line thinking, is just acknowledge it. It's not about beating yourself up. Just go, okay, thank you. I hear you. I can see it. And then make a change to shift it. Reframe it into something else. You know, Greg Braden did this on a flight. He did it on 9/11 when they were just putting the planes back on. I think it was 2 days after 9/11 it happened. And of course, the flight attendant, as they were boarding, said, so, oh, okay, so you're going to the States. Well, there's not many of you, so take your pick of seats. You know, you're braver than I am. And he was perfectly fine with actually going on the plane until she said that. And then the amygdala kicked in, the whole flight, fight, freeze thing kicked in. And he's like, whoa, now I'm not sure. So he took himself away around the corner, just into a quiet spot. And he just went, okay, I need to bring in a head-heart alliance. And this is what he does. The HeartMath Institute is a fantastic organization that came up with the head-heart coherence process. And what he did was he just aligned himself with the head-heart coherence process. And he just took a few minutes to do that, and he fell into it. Because if it's like a millisecond, our hearts know the answer. Our heads will always get in the way, but our hearts absolutely know. So it's about trusting this. And I know with a lot of you that do this kind of work, you get this, you know this. So what happens is, what happened for him was he just took the few minutes, he fell into it, he instantly got the feeling of like, it's okay, we're all good to move and go and take that flight. And that's what he did. All was well. So it's about trusting what your heart says, absolutely trusting. And I even needed to do that when Chris got sick. It was like, you know, I'm stepping into, I can do the best I can to the best of my ability. However, I can do the best that I can right now with what I've got in my way of helping. And that's what I did. I stepped into my heart and I trusted. So what I'd love to do is a little process to actually help you feel this. And I know you probably do your own process of this, but what I'm going to ask you to do is just to feel in. So if you would just take a deep breath in, just close your eyes and take a lovely deep breath in and just feel the difference. Feel lovely. And now put your hand on your heart. That's the second step. And I want you to just breathe in for a count of 5. Just nice and deep. Perhaps it's more, perhaps it's less, but just breathing in deep and then release it. And breathe in again. And release. And now, as you're breathing, I would love you to just breathe in appreciation. Breathe in could be compassion or care or love or gratitude. Just get into the motion. Just feel into the emotion. And breathe as if you're breathing through your heart. Pretend that you're actually breathing through your heart. Allow that breath to go in and out through that space. Breathing in love, compassion, gratitude, care. Just keep breathing deep and breathing out. And just take another breath in, just in your own time, and release. And then just gently come back to now. Just when you're ready. Yeah. Can you feel the difference? Yeah. Yeah. It's peaceful, isn't it? It's a very, very peaceful part. Before I came on this call today, just share with me anything that's coming up for you. I'd love for you to share. What are you feeling? I know before I came on the call, that's exactly what I did. And because, you know, our minds are busy, mind was buzzing all over the place, and then it was like, head, heart, coherence. So I just took a couple of minutes and it was like, beautiful. And there we are. Yes, it does. I'm above the light. Yes, and it clears the air up here, Akka. That's right, it does. It totally clears the air. Feeling so much lighter. Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa. Beautiful. In trust. Absolutely. And isn't that a gorgeous feeling? That beautiful feeling of trust. Love the bird background. Yes. Is that your end or ours? Yes. I think it's one of those peewees. Pretty little things. Both, Lani. Yes, beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's great. So gorgeous. So absolutely beautiful. So yes, this is, while you're in the chat room, what else can you be doing to add to your rituals right now, your daily self-care? What can you be doing right now to add to that amazingness that you already are? What can you do? What can you do more of? The thing with stepping into a conscious communicator just while you're typing your notes, yes, read or watch a movie, absolutely. Meditate, absolutely. Thank you, Donna. Meditate, yep, beautiful. Love it. Meditate is such a beautiful thing. And with the head-heart coherence, it doesn't have to be a meditation. Meditation is absolutely a fantastic tool and technique on its own. The head-heart coherence is just about aligning the head and the heart. It doesn't mean you need to take yourself away and go into a deep head-heart coherence. It's just lining up, breathing through the head, just like through the heart. We can do the head well enough, can't we? Breathing through the heart and just feeling that alignment between the two, feeling the compassion. That's just stepping away and doing it, not necessarily doing meditation, but meditation is a really good way as well. Donna, I do EFT every day, something more depending on how I'm feeling. Absolutely, that's the emotional freedom technique. That's a fabulous tool as well. I love that. Donna says she cleans the house out. Absolutely, I love that. We're moving into a time of clean our space and teaching the kids to meditate. I agree. Decluttering, clearing the space is an absolute fantastic way of realigning, because when we're clearing energy, we're all energy, right? So when we're clearing that energy, we're allowing the space for even more to come through, for the fresh energy, that is, to come through. We're clearing the old. To Beth, be creative and listening to music that creates peace. Absolutely. I do this every day. Every time I'm working now, I'm bringing in my music, and I'm happy to share what I listen to if you're ever looking for ideas. But really, just quietly in the background, just very, very soothing. It just helps that head-heart coherence as well. Yeah, that's beautiful. No, lovely thoughts. You're really on track. I love this. I think it's great. So let's look at how you can become more of a conscious communicator, and you're going to really, really love this, and you're going to love the gift that I'm going to give you as well. This is a practical piece that's going to highlight that what drives you, what are the different perspectives of how we do communication. Now, I'm doing a lot of study with Kendall Summerhawk, and if you've heard of her work, she does the 8 sacred money archetypes. Now, the reason why I share this is that when we're wanting to have more confidence, we're wanting to be more proactive, we're wanting to find our voice, get out there and do more Facebook Lives, do more working with teams, just getting out there and sharing our message. It's really important to know how we communicate that with the world and understand what the different perspectives and personalities and drivers and motivation that we have in order to do that, so that we can be aligned as we go out. Now, we've got to remember that as we align with ourselves, and we are those conscious communicators, we are those conscious leaders, what we're doing is stepping into the point where our certainty outweighs others' doubts. Because as you're going out there and sharing your message, it's so important that you step into your power, because your certainty it's essential that your certainty outweighs others' doubt. In fact, it's your certainty needs to outweigh others' certainty. So no matter where you're at and how you're feeling, it's around what it is that you need to step into to create that for yourself, and then do it for others. Because the more you feel that, others will too. So by understanding this, what I thought, and there's many ways that we could do this, but one of the best ways to understand, or at least start to get an understanding of who we are as a communicator, is to actually recognize what our money archetypes are and what drives us to create money, to create wealth. Now, this is new training, which I haven't done before, but when I was thinking about this, I thought this is perfect for you guys to get a real inkling as to who are you as a communicator. Because how we do money, this is the thing, and I love this, how we do money is how we do everything in life. So if you're not getting, I'm seeing a few nods, so it's like, yeah, you're getting it, right? So, no, yeah. So I just wondered if anyone was adding any comments there, because by all means, add any comments there around that, because I'd love to hear. Donna, that has been my biggest limiting belief. Yes, absolutely. We so hold ourselves back. But this is so interesting, because if we're holding ourselves back in our money, guaranteed we're holding ourselves back in other aspects of our life. Would you agree? Yeah? And this is what I have actually found. So beautiful. Donna says that's true. Absolutely. Great. Fantastic. Well, you're going to love this. Now, this is the tip of the iceberg. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through as an overview of the 8 archetypes. Now, as you are listening to them, see what resonates for you. And as you're doing it, pop things in the chat box as to what you're resonating with, which ones you're resonating with as I go through. Now, I've made a few notes because there were some key things that I really wanted to make sure I shared with you. So, and now let me show you some visuals, because it's always good to have visuals, isn't it? Here we go. One of the very first archetypes is the ruler. Now remember, see how you resonate with it. We actually have our top 3 archetypes will actually drive us as to how we do money, how we create wealth in the world, right? So the first archetype is the ruler. Now they're the empire builder. They're driven to create they're just driven to create. They're unstoppable. They have this deep desire, this passion to make a difference. And they're also about bringing in others on the journey, so making a big impact for others. They measure money by their achieving their success, and they can often challenge themselves because they're pushing themselves to their limit. Now, if sometimes there's a restlessness within them, and they can be quite hard on themselves because they're so driven. And because of that can actually stop them and slow them down. So what they're doing is they're empire buildings, and how they illuminate the world is this desire to achieve and help bring people on the journey so that they can achieve as well. Now, their sacred money contract, according to Kendall, this is her work, is to innovate, achieve, empower wealth with grace and ease. Does anyone know Janine Howard? Of course, Vanessa does. Yep, well, she's my business coach. She's Vanessa's business coach as well. She is a ruler. Would you agree, Vanessa? She's a ruler. She is about she's about creating and driving forward and creating this massive empire. I mean, she even calls herself Iconic Empire. So, she's even using that language, and it's all about ease and grace. So on that, why I mention that is that as you're listening, have a think about who you might know. If it's not you, who do you recognize? Because this is a great way to actually learn. These is to recognize these qualities in others. So, let's go to accumulator. Now, accumulators, they're like the inner banker. The inner banker, they illuminate from the perspective of creating respect and appreciation. They love money. They have a very, very strong relationship with money. They're very good at managing money. Is anyone adding any comments? Because if you are, I haven't seen them. Yeah. Okay. And if you're resonating with any of these so far, please share. So they even love the sake of saving money. It's a really big one for them. They're very careful with money, so they're very careful as to how they spend it. They don't like to spend it. And the thing is, they can stop themselves from expanding into other things and missing opportunities because they're not seeing the bigger picture, okay? So their money contract is to respect the power of money by investing to create financial freedom, okay? So that's the accumulator. Everyone can have a copy of this recording. So as you're making your notes, just know you've got that as well. So the next one is the connector. Now the connector is the relationship creator. They're all about building the relationships with partnerships, whether that building relationship personally, professionally. They're all about, they have a lot of faith. It's so interesting. They have lots of faith and optimism to the point where they actually don't worry too much about money. They'd rather somebody else took care of the money because that's something they really don't want to be bothered about. They've got like an innocent type quality to their approach to money, so very trusting, which can mean they can be taken advantage of. So sometimes they'll find themselves relying a lot on others and putting that trust into somebody else and then maybe being taken advantage of for that. So their money contract, their sacred money contract, is to empower financial independence through the value of relationships. So isn't that great? Now, I'm going to share a little bit about that in a moment, but no, actually, I just feel to share it now. So, for example, as you're thinking about these in relation to your communication, because I know they're giving you insight as to how people do money, but think of it in communication. Now, someone who is a connector, if their strength is communication and reaching people and building those relationships with others, business partnerships, those networking, the one-on-one, and they're doing behind the scenes, say, currency trading, which is, I'm saying this because that's what I did and realized, oh gosh, why is this such jolly misalignment? If they're doing behind the scenes and they're not out there building the relationships with people, this is going to impact two things in a big way, isn't it? The money and also the communication, because they're not in their strength, they're not in their power, they're not stepping into how they are as a really conscious communicator. Does this make sense? Yeah? Yep. Okay. All right. That's good. I just felt to just share that there. So that's the connector. Now we go down to the alchemist. Now the alchemist, they're a fun one. They have a real love-hate relationship with money. Their motivation is very unselfish normally, because it's all about, they're passionate about helping support others. They have a very keen way of being able to come up with fresh ideas that are amazing, that help others get different perspectives on things. Now, so what they do is they have fresh ideas, they can see things from different angles, which makes that a very powerful thing for them to create wealth. So this relationship with money, the only thing is it can be a bit annoying for them to have to deal with the detail. And I was actually doing an archetypes reading with a client just a couple of days ago to identify her top 3 archetypes. And this was her. And she went, oh no, she said, that's me. She said, that's all over it. I love being able to help people. And of course, she's out there. She's also a celebrity as well, which I'll come to in a moment. But she's out there with everything that she's helping people and really unselfish, doing beautiful work. When it came to the money, that was her block. So we worked with her on that to clear that block, because that was what was stopping her. Okay. So her money archetype, her money contract is to transform ideas into financial success. And then we have the romantic. Oh, I've lost the romantic. No, we haven't. We've got let's go to the maverick. Okay. So the maverick is, they're a little bit like a rebel with a cause. So what they're doing is they're really good at taking risk. They love to take risk. It's about the riskier, the better, because they're very creative when it comes to money. They have this beautiful natural ability to feel comfortable in those risky situations. It might be others would go, whoa, that's not for me. That's too scary. They go, yeah, bring it on. I love it. And so they have this willingness to get right outside their comfort zone and do these extreme financial risks. But of course that can impact, because sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not. But they're clever at seeing the opportunities on how to do that. So their contract is to balance the extreme risk with financial security. And then let's have a look at, is anyone making comments about where they're at? I'd love to know. Anyone resonating with any of these? Where have you gone? Oh, there you are. Oops, here we go. Let me just go up to the chat room. I just want to see if you've got any questions. Yes, okay, a mix, great. Yes, and you will be a mix as well. This is why you're going to love the next thing I'm going to share with you. I resonate with the connector. I would totally agree with you, Donna, absolutely. And you said it sounds like I'm an alchemist. Okay, so you got the ideas, great. But I get motivated by the money, so I can lose money. Perfect. So you're recognizing the strengths and challenges. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's keep going. I'm just going to share this again, because it's always good to have pictures. So celebrity. Okay. So yes. Now the celebrity is known as the inner big shot. So they, as you can imagine, they love being in the spotlight. They love the impact. They love the recognition. They love going out. They've got this kind of charismatic personality that's a magnetic personality that draws people to them. People are very attracted to their personality. And the thing is, and I will just share this, sometimes someone who is, and I'm sharing this because this might be you might be a celebrity, but you're doing this thing. And what can happen, especially as women, we can hide our stardom. We can hide behind the power. But what I'm suggesting here is that you actually uncover that and discover what that's like to be in the spotlight, because when you do, you will show, you will shine. I mean, you will all shine. You don't have to be a celebrity to shine, but it's like, if you are that archetype and you're really resonating with that, you will absolutely shine when you step out into that spotlight. Again, they're not real keen on looking after money. So it's like, somebody else can look after that. I'd rather spend my money on the things that are going to make me look good. Oops. So bling's really important to them, and those really things that have that real sensory kind of like emotional uplifting. You love that. The celebrity loves that. So their money contract is to accumulate wealth while being admired and valued in the world. How interesting. So the next one is the nurturer. They're all so different, aren't they? All so diverse in the way that they do this. So I'm encouraging you, keep thinking about this in relation to your communication, because there is a crossover here. I'm just using this as a vehicle to help open up the possibility for you. Okay, nurturer. Well, the nurturer is like, they call it the inner sponsor. So they're about the caring, the compassion. They've got a beautiful heart of gold. And this is who, actually, I know Deb has had to leave the call, but she would be a nurturer, I think, because feeling into that. So they'll always be there to help others, like to the point where if it's financially impacting them on their finances, it's impacting them emotionally, it's impacting them on their time, it doesn't matter. They will put themselves out for everyone to be able to, even to the point of, so it's not so healthy for them. That would be the challenge for them, is to actually draw the line and say no sometimes. But they have a very generous nature. So they're about that nurturing, that creating that space for people. And their contract is about care for others and empowering others. So, and then the last one is the romantic in hers. And what that is the inner hedonist or the pleasure seeker. And they're about illuminating the pleasures of life. So they're about living in the moment, about spending money on things that give them joy, creating those sensory pleasures. So if you're the romantic, you're not going to like money particularly. Well, it's not that you don't like money. You love money. You want to spend it on yourself. In fact, you say to yourself, hey, I deserve this, so therefore I'm going to spend it. So you'll justify it and go, that's it, I'm going to spend it anyway. Even if you haven't got it, you'll find ways. So can spend beyond your means, but you do have, it's just, yes, it's about creating that financial security, but also being able to live life to the fullest. And when you relate this to how you can help others, that's your communication, because you can help others live to their fullest as well. So that was kind of like a whistle stop over the 8 archetypes. What I'd love to, again, just to hear from you as to what you're sharing, but to give you an idea just on a little bit more around archetypes. Archetypes are like we develop our archetypes because of the experiences, the beliefs that we've had in the past. Carl Jung, he was a psychologist back in the 20s from Switzerland, and he talked about how we have these inner programs. So on an unconscious level, we're running these programs, and we're not even aware that we're running these programs. They're just part from our experiences, our beliefs, our values. So we do that. And so this is what influences us to become who we are. And this is why we step into certain archetypes. So they're like a model or a theme that we do, that we run our lives from. And from that perspective, as I've shared each of these in relation to money, are you relating to how they might be conscious or unconscious patterns that you're running in your life that might be impacting your life right now? Yeah? You can, yeah, you're getting an inkling. So this is the goal. And look, it starts with awareness. It's like anything. We're talking about the above and below line thinking. If you're feeling like, I'm not good with money, what's wrong with me? And I even had that conversation with myself in the past. Like, what the hell's going on? And when you can go, okay, I've got awareness of it. This is when you reframe it and go, well, okay, curiosity. How can I learn more? How can I change what it is? This is what I do, but how can I turn it into a strength rather than stay stuck in what you are doing, which isn't serving you? Donna, definitely, and that creates the push and the pull of it. Absolutely. It does, doesn't it? It does. So what I have for you, and this is the gift, is just, let me just ask, pop in the chat box, what's been valuable around what we've talked about today so far? Because I want to honour the time for you. So what's been valuable about what we've done? And then I'd love to share with you a gift that I have for you, which you are absolutely going to love. Just saying. And I'll just check that there wasn't something else I wanted to add. Yeah. So it's that conscious communication, that conscious leadership. The more awareness that we have about how we run our lives, how we do money, how we communicate with the world, the more that we have awareness, because each of those archetypes that I've just shared with you, they all have their own, would you agree, their own perspectives, their own drivers, their own motivation. And anyone who is, for example, a ruler or a connector, they will relate to others who are connectors or rulers. And then, but what will happen is, in the way that we communicate with the other archetypes, we need to change our way in the way we communicate that. It's not that the values are different. It's not that we aren't aligned in other ways. It's just that we have different drivers to drive us in our communication, to drive us in the way that we generate income. Does this make sense? Yeah, does that, yeah, you feel that's right? Okay, so what have we got here? Learning the money archetype, looking at all the ways to occupy yourself, giving permission to not work all the time is important too. I love that. Thank you, Donna. That's true. So what's one thing you could do to like give yourself that permission? No, just think about that. Is it the head-heart coherence where you just allow yourself to come in alignment and then go, okay, it's okay to stop. What can I do for myself? Certainly getting clear on my archetypes and my habits. Beautiful. That's great. Consciousness of money habits being the same as the rest of my life. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Beautiful. I love what you've shared. You're absolutely on the mark. So my gift for you, because you guys have shown up, and anyone who watches the video as well, and thank you for being okay with me sharing it with everyone, is I would love to do a reading for you. And Tebeth has actually done this, and we haven't done the reading yet, but she's done the assessment. The actual questions take like 8 to 10 minutes. I will send them through to you. And what this will give you are your top 3 money archetypes, your sacred money archetypes. Now that will give you the top one, that is your main driver. But then I'll be able to give you the reading on how your second and your third archetype influence your first archetype. So we'll do like a 20 to 30 minute conversation on how those 3 are influencing, and then to bring awareness of what it is that you need to be doing. And we'll deep dive. I mean, we've just gone over the top. We've done a bit of a whistle stop over the top of all of those, but we'll actually deep dive into how these are influencing and impacting your life. And that's my gift to you. It's complimentary, of course. It's free, and I want to give that to you. Okay, that's it. It's beautiful. Are you all keen to get that? Yeah, unmute yourselves if you like. That would be beautiful. Okay, does that sound like you all want to get that?
Yes, that'll be good.
Great, fantastic. All right, so what we'll do, I will send, because I've got your emails, of course, I will send through the assessment. As I say, it only takes about 8 minutes, 10 minutes tops to do the questions. Trust the first answer that comes through to you. Just trust what your heart's saying, and then pop it in the box, and then let me know what you've come out as in the tally, or just send it through and I can work it out, either way. And then we'll tee up a time to have a conversation. We'll do a Zoom call so we can do a face-to-face, or we can do an audio, either way. Sound good?
Can I say it was quite interesting answering the question?
Thank you, Tebeth. Yes?
Yeah.
In what way? How so?
Well, it's just some of the work made you really think about. You may think you do one thing, but you actually may do another. Like your actions are different to what you think, how it questioned how you acted or what you thought.
Nice.
If that makes sense. Unconsciously, we think we're doing one thing, but when those questions came up, it made you rethink.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, it comes from, okay, this will give you the package to have the awareness, and then the steps of what needs to change in order to create different results to what you are already getting. Unless you're 100% on the results you're getting, then don't do anything. It's all good. But if you're wanting to like create a shift and you'd really like to explore this is what we'll do. So what I'll do is I'll send that out to you, and then I'll also send through a way that we can do a calendar so we can link in a time that suits both. And then can't wait to have a conversation with you. It's beautiful. It's great.
Thank you so much, Kim. Really appreciate it.
You're
Yes,
very
just
welcome. What was that, Lani?
Thank you. I was just saying thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Look forward to talking.
Beautiful. Look forward to it.
Bye, everybody.
That's great. All right. Bye, everyone. That's great. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.